welcome back. I wanted to talk to you today about the wonderful JS plugins again, and how I've managed to replace a Waves plugin with a JS plugin. And it also show you a little trick for if you want to make some rock guitars nice and wide, if you've just got the one guitar, or in this case I'm just messing about with trying to layer. There is two guitars, but I'm wanting to use them as layers instead of two just hard pan guitars. So all will become clear. What we can do is, if we have a quick listen to what we've got now, this will be with some bass and drums as well. So if we just have a quick listen. Okay, and then if I bring in this stereo widening track, which I'll explain in a second, you'll see what this does. Straight away you can hear what that's doing. That's spreading it all out to the sides. Now firstly we'll go into the routing. Now normally the stereo widening track, this guy here, the yellow track here, I would have this in my folders track, in one of my folders tracks, and in one of my return tracks, sorry, and routed to the returns output there. So I've just brought it up here for ease so we can see it a bit easier and ease for the video. So first off, my routing with this, which is quite important, and as I'll explain later, as you can see it's gone into the stereo wide track, which is this yellow one, and I'm doing it pre-fader. Okay, this is quite important. Now my normal FX chain on this is, sorry, it's on my other screen down here, is my Waves doubler and the Waves S1 imager. Okay, I'm just going to quickly bring up another plugin. If you want to do this on the free method, is we can use this guy, A1 Stereo Control, from a1audio.de, totally free. So the reason I'm doing this is I want to be able to go anywhere with anyone that's got Reaper, and I can, do the same widening trick. It doesn't matter. I don't need specific plugins. It's all there with Reaper. This is the whole point of this. So I did a bit of digging around in the JS folder and found this guy, the MDA pseudo stereo plugin. Okay, so what we'll do is, if I bring up the effects, keep going to my second screen here, and if we highlight both of these, and if we do Control B, we can flick between them. So what we'll do is we'll start out with the Waves, and I'll flick between the Waves and the pseudo stereo plugin, and we'll see what you can hear. Now, as you can hear, there are slight differences, but they are pretty much both doing the same job. The doubler, as it stands, I think probably works a little bit better, the Waves doubler. But with a little bit of messing around with the pseudo stereo, you can get it to work pretty well. And then also on top of that, if we come back to the fact of the routing, where I said to send it pre-fader, when we put the pseudo stereo in and play it, we can drop back a little bit on the centre pan guitars, and that just leaves us the sides. So you can hear that's a little bit more like the Waves effect does, and that's why it was so important that this was sent pre-fader. So we can just turn down the centre. We've still got the centre there, but we can adjust how much of the widening we want and how much of the centre stuff we want. And then just to take it that one step further, if I bring up the A1 stereo control. The S1 imager is at, what are we at? It doesn't give me a percentage. Okay, so we'll just have to guesstimate it. So if we go over to this one, probably about there, and then if we flick between these two, well, if I'll let you hear without them, then I'll bring in the S1 imager and then we'll flip between these two. It's a big difference there. And if we just go between the two, there's no difference. So for free, for this chain that I always had going on, we can use the JS MDA pseudo stereo plugin. You have to mess around a little bit with the delay. The default comes out with the amount type in the middle here. I've just put it all the way 100%. Messed around a little bit with the delay, and the output actually is higher than the wave, so I brought the output down just to try and balance it a little bit to make it a fairer comparison. Ooh, excuse me. SSLEQ, that's doing absolutely nothing in there. It's just there for in case I want to do a little bit of adjustment. And then the A1 stereo control from a1audio.de, a totally free plugin. I couldn't find anything in the JS folder that quite did the job that this does. There may well be something there. If there is, let me know, and I'll have another dig in. I'm going to keep looking for it though, because I would like to be able, my whole point of this is I would like to be able to take Reaper with me on a USB stick and be able to do what I do at home or at work, at the studio at work, on a USB stick with just Reaper installed and maybe a couple of free small plugins, you know, like this A1 stereo control. Nothing I have to carry about licenses or anything like that, you know. So that's where we're at. So I hope that made sense. Anyway, I hope that was useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, folks. Bye.